Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Esoteric Healing. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Things are changing. How are you? I hope you're doing great. The energy is pretty crazy right now, isn't it, everyone? It is a little bit over the top as we are going from the Pisces time to Aries time, and there's always a period of time within that is just undefinable and kind of difficult to articulate on. I hope you're doing well, and I just wanted to really extend a space before we get into this video and we get into the messages of this equinox time. I wanted to really extend a space that feels really sacred, really open, really honest, really welcoming, really transparent. So whether you're coming back, whether you're listening to the live stream of this, or whether you're listening to this a year down the line or whatever and doing some retrospection, I really want you to come into this video and I want you to set a space. I want you to really open up. I want you to really look around your environment and sort of take in this moment and use this moment to think about what your life is, where you are, where you've come, what you like, what you don't like, who you are, who you've been. We are safe, we are open, we are available, and we are taking back our power here and now. I really want to set that as a preparation for this video because we have a lot to talk about. This is going to be just a bit of an eccentric, intuitive experience for me. As you guys know, these are raw, unedited channelings, so I just kind of come at it with a bit of an outline, and then I kind of improvise with what feels right, with what intuitively feels right, because I'm also generating this space in this moment. I'm generating this space within myself to have openness, to see my experiences, to see what's going on in life, and I'm extending that to all of you, and I really want us to set that, and I want us to feel safe, secure, and protected, and allowing of our own vision to see the truth, the reality, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, all of the above within our lives. That is the meat and potatoes of what this equinox comes in to provide us, is a space, okay? We are coming from the 2018 year cycle, from, again, March around 21st of 2018 to March 2019. That cycle, what has happened in your life, the events that have occurred, the emotions you have gathered, the things you have released, all of those things are now becoming the past, okay? All of those things are now gaining distance, departing from our life. What an incredible time it is coming here on March 20th to know by now. You know, we used December and January of 2018 and 19 to understand, to draw everything up, to get things in order. February, we organized that even more, and we understood even more what we wanted to get in order. And now that we have drawn that all up, we've seen what is here, we now use this period of time to move away, to move on, and to begin pioneering forward. To begin not having to pretend anymore, to follow through on the actions that you've needed to take, and to gain momentous energy with which you can use to do what you've needed to do for a long time. This equinox feels purely incredible. It feels absolutely awesome, awe-inspiring. There are a few things going on in the sky right now that can muddy things up. We are right in the middle of a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and that will be going all the way through the equinox. So it's going to kind of stretch out the ending phase that we're going through in the beginning of March here till about mid-April, but it's going to also integrate that with the impetus to follow through on the changes that we've needed to make for a long time. So what changes are you wanting to make? I know for myself, I feel it coming, and I felt it coming actually for a long time, since about October of November of 2018. I suppose there's a connecting timeline there. I knew sort of what changes needed to be made in my life, but it feels that those changes got halted, and now they come through during this time with the ability to follow through and the ability to move forward, because for a lot of people, 2018 year cycle was about being strongly injected with energy, but seeing how that wasn't used in the way that you truly needed, and sort of waking up and now moving into this energy cycle, being able to use that energy. So again, welcome to my channel, guys. I hope that you are feeling wonderful. Speaking of changes, I am going to be having a few changes happening here on my channel and just in the way that I go about all of this. And I may make a specific video about it, but to kind of summarize, on the positive side, I will be posting new videos every week. So Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be having new videos on my channel every single week. The 12 general readings should be going up on the last Friday of every month, and then the other 3 Fridays will be surprises. We will have like transit videos and concept videos and some surprise content coming up. So be sure to mark your calendars for Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, whatever that is for you. Mark that down. Sky's new video comes out, so you guys can come back to my channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell button. And also, I will be migrating some incredible new content onto Patreon as well. I'm so grateful for my patrons. It is because of them that I am able to bring this much focus and insight into topics like this. So I will be starting to come in person on Patreon, and I will be starting to do in-person readings and chats and dialogues. So be sure to come over there. There will be free content and paid content. A lot of my content on Patreon is free, and I just, if you find yourself wanting to pledge or wanting to contribute and support the monetary side of this endeavor, you can feel free to do that. But a lot of the content is indeed free. Also, I will be expanding on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as of now, and there may be some other platforms that I take on as well, but I will be focusing into those 3 a lot. So be sure to follow those if this video resonates for you and you would like other content that is not perhaps available here, and to also keep up with me, my channeling, what I do, and how things are going. So that's sort of what things are looking like for me personally in my business career sense, as I personally find myself wanting to take on more structure and wanting to make things more predictable for myself in a lot of sectors of my life. Yet at the same time, there has to be room for an eccentricity, and there has to be room for enjoyment and motivation. So I've been working a lot to integrate that, and hopefully my rambling about my own things is not too much of a distraction for you all, but I feel like it's good to relate, and it's good to just have a bit of a casual dialogue. And again, this video is kind of spontaneous. Whereas I hope that it could be, algorithmed into YouTube and get like a huge bunch of views or something. I'm kind of more so doing this video for my already subscribers, like the people who've already been subscribed to my channel, as sort of a casual dialogue between us. It's more so what this is for. It's more not so much about exploding on YouTube. This is about connecting with who's already here. So I am kind of speaking in a familiar tone as I would with friends or even family, as I do consider a lot of you to be friends and family. So yeah, that's how some changes are going to be looking like for me. And without further ado, everyone, let's get heavy into some of the concepts which are coming up into this reading. Again, it's going to be quite eccentric for me. I have an outline here, but I'm kind of just having some different thoughts about how I kind of want to go about this. I think I'm going to start right off the bat with some tarot, actually, which is a little bit different for me. I usually start with the intuitive messages. I'm going to shuffle. Something feels very unclear. So, and I'm not surprised. I mean, it's still Pisces time as I'm recording this, so I'm still there, and Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, and Neptune is in Pisces, so there's a lot there, but I'm shuffling right now, maybe giving you a bit of ASMR. And I want to understand why things are still so unclear. What is the purpose of things being unclear? Motivations being unclear? Not sort of knowing which direction to go. What does this give us? What is the purpose of the lack of clarity right now, and where is it originating from? Where does it go? I want to understand more. Okay, so Death and Justice reversed are coming up, and I want one more Ace of Swords. So I'm not surprised at all. I mean, Death coming up during Pisces time is quite common. Justice reversed, Ace of Swords. We are trying to become more clear, is the best that I can put it. We are trying to become much more honed. We are sharpening our blades, basically, is what I'm feeling. And this indecisiveness, I'm feeling a strong indecisiveness within a lot of us right now during this equinox. A strong lack in clarity, a strong, not sure of where we're going. And that is serving to sharpen the blades for the future. So through the decisions that we make here, through the hindsight that we gain here, we become much more decisive. We become much more direct. I feel that many of us are operating from fairness. I feel that many of us are operating from common sense, or what is the proper decision to make here, and that's also why we're getting caught in indecisiveness, because we're taking so many perspectives. Justice reversed says we're taking too many perspectives, we're taking too many And interestingly, Justice also holds the sword that's in Ace of Swords, and it's like it's reversed. So one moment we're very clear, and then we're very unclear, and we're sort of shifting back and forth. And this happens during a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, most definitely. But I feel that we are perhaps too karmically concerned or too balance oriented. Small things which feel out of whack are perhaps having too much power over us. So maybe we have a lot more money or we have a lot more energy than we're giving ourselves credit for. We might not be judging what we actually have or the conditions that are actually coming over us during this time. I think that's a big part of the indecisiveness and the lack of clarity right now during this time is it is an ending phase and we know that we have to make a change, but we're thinking too hard about if it's right. We're thinking too hard about the logistics, okay? Perhaps we're thinking too much about the logistics. So, it is maybe a more unclear time right now, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay for things not to be so certain right now. Maybe it's okay for things to be waiting in the wings. I do feel that we are waiting, and it's not so comfortable for a lot of us because we feel, especially as this video is going, we feel that we need to be very active, very action oriented right now, moving, changing, and we will do it. But I feel that it will be mid-April before it actually clicks into place, before it's actually done. So try to not force it too much. We've got to get this Mercury out of its retrograde shadow, which will be April 14th-ish. We've got to get that out of its retrograde cycle. And it will be direct on March 28th, but it will stay in that shadow until around April 14th. And I feel that determines and defines this period of unclearness. We have a lot of retrogrades starting up as well after the equinox and moving through the summer. Big retrograde cycles coming, more eclipses. So we are also kind of taking a pause. I feel we are regaining our strength to face that here. So it's going to be a super important time during this equinox to have let go. It's imperative to have let go of what keeps threatening your health or what keeps threatening your well-being, because that is one of the main things that Pisces time is about. Again, the death card is coming up, so something for everybody, every single person out there, something that has been going throughout the 2018 cycle, going, won't let go, won't let up, won't be satisfied with, has to finally be let go. And for some of you, you can get a little bit picky with what you want that to be. I feel that there is flexibility in what you choose to let go of during this time, but the message is that something has to go. So what is it for you? For some of you, it could be so simple as like getting rid or donating to charity the clothes that you no longer wear, things like that. For most of us, it deals with letting go of some kind of addiction. I'm hearing the words addiction and flexibility coming up a lot. So I feel that some of us are being too flexible with our addictions on one hand, whereas for others, I feel that we must become flexible to let go of them. So there's a connection between flexibility and addiction right now, and things which might not even to some people be considered addictive have become addictive through the 2018 year cycle. That was one of the main concepts about 2018 was when sort of strange things become addictive. So I think that I'm addicted to coffee, but it's actually the process of making the coffee that's addictive, or it's what I'm doing while I drink the coffee that's addictive, but I'm thinking it's the coffee, but it's not, things like that. It's sort of like what people talk about with like smokers, like it half of the addiction is of course the substance, but also half of the addiction is, the hand to mouth thing and things like that. I feel that a lot of us are addicted to things that we're unaware of being addicted to. And I think that on one hand, that comes from an over flexibility oriented society. So we need to be very flexible. So we lose clarity and we lose clearness in what's actually sort of going on. And then we end up becoming addicted to things which we're not aware that we're addicted of. This is very Piscean stuff, and it's what we're dealing with here and now. And I'm hoping as you're listening to this, you've identified it. Again, we had such an incredible opportunity in December, January, and February to realize what wasn't working. And then March was about actually letting go of it. And then the end of March and April is about moving on. Okay. I want you all to really wrap your head around the concept of moving on from something. I'm getting chills. I'm getting super chills. And actually, I want to shuffle again and do another draw. I want to understand how we can move on. I want to understand what's prevented us from moving on, and I also want to understand tips in authorizing ourselves. It feels like we're not allowing ourselves to authorize movement, to authorize moving on. Okay, I'm just drawing. 2 Pentacles cards so far. I'm surprised about that. Okay, in Strength, that sort of clears things up a little bit. I feel that some of us are holding on to things too much. I feel that some of us are very concerned with our legacy, how we're appearing, and this is sort of making us overstay. I feel overstaying with the energy here, and I feel like having to utilize a lot of our strength and ability to stay in a situation. It feels like maybe some of us are, staying in a place because it's cheap so that we can save money, but the energy in the place is very bad, but we don't want to move because we're saving and we're like seeing our accounts grow, but at the same time that the cost of those accounts growing is like our own personal sanity. There's a lot of that type of thing that I'm feeling here, and I think that distance has to happen for a lot of us. I think that a lot of us maybe have to walk away from the beast, if that makes sense. There's, if you see in the Strength card, we're trying to tame the beast, but how much energy do we have to do that? A lot of us are maybe treating our lives, or I want to say more so living our lives in preparation for the beast versus actually living our lives. So we're saving up for the rainy day, and the rainy day has become a part of our daily life because it's motivated our position in life, and yet the rainy day never comes and you don't live your life. With Jupiter and Sagittarius this year, this equinox, Aries time coming in, strong fire trines in the summer, we have to kind of take a chance this year. For a lot of us, we have to follow our hearts this year. At the same time, we have a lot of Earth. We have the Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn. We have Uranus in Taurus. We have, we'll have Virgo time where we'll get Earth trines going, which again encourages status quo. It encourages conservative energy use. It encourages saving versus spending. So I feel a lot of us are just kind of torn in a tug of war between, do I do the safe thing or do I follow my heart? Okay. There is a particular type of lucky person who enjoys being safe and frugal, and that is following their heart, and they really can thrive in this year. But I feel that for people who need more adventure and more adrenaline constantly, it can be a bit more difficult just because you don't really feel confident in either place. You don't really feel confident in frugality, but you don't feel completely confident in adventure. Although I don't want to say that. There are certain times of this year, again in the summer and also Sagittarius time, Libra time as well, perhaps Gemini time, where adventure will be perfect. Adventure will feel completely connected. But you can't rush it too much here. You can't rush it too entirely strongly. And again, as these cards were specifically about like why we're struggling to move on, I think that some of us are just looking down too much. We're looking at what's around, and it's like it prevents us and time passes, which is a bit of a polarizing message, because I feel that a lot of what is necessary right now is looking at your environment and looking what's around you. At the same time, that can go too far and it can overwhelm you. As we move into Aries time, and this is a huge message for this video, I think, we can't be so all-encompassing. So, and that's again the shift from Pisces to Aries time. Pisces is all about the void, the endlessness, the huge atmosphere and environment around you. And then Aries is about the small path in front of you. We're thinking about the path, not about the details of the surroundings. We go from this sort of agoraphobic energy of Pisces into the more linear nature of Aries. So allow a linearity to come into your life, please. I feel that a linear cycle is actually so healing for a lot of us. Options are wonderful. Open worlds are wonderful. But at the same time, it can lead to stagnation if you've struggled with trauma recently, because sometimes we don't trust ourselves to make the right decision when many options are present, so we stay still. So embracing a bit more linearity could be really nice for a lot of us, and that could come in a bit of a roundabout way. I also feel, I feel that it could come in a bit of a roundabout way because sometimes when we've prioritized options or prioritized giving ourselves room, the universe might sometimes have to come in and take that away so that we're forced back onto a linear path if we can't do it ourselves. So yes, that can look like making less money for some people. That can look like fights falling out in current environments so that you feel forced to finally make that change. If you are having a lot of discord in a current environment, or if you are just feeling really stuck, it's probably a good sign that a change needs to happen, because I do feel that the universe shows like really clearly and very quickly what is and is not the right place to be. So you go into a place and it doesn't feel right, move on. You know, you are fighting with the people that you're currently with, move on. It's a great time for a breakup. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's a great time for peaceful breakups, peaceful moving on, not dramatic temperamental breaking off, but it feels like people can be on the same page about what they need to do. Also good time for marriage, or good time for coming together, especially when we get into April, middle April, after we get past the Mercury shadow. It's a good time for like changing things one way or another. So like finally making the commitment, or finally understanding that the detachment needs to happen. And, you know, speaking more on the planetary side of things, we will be having Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto going retrograde soon after the equinox. Within March and April, those three planets will be moving retrograde. So we will go directly into this motivating, you know, jump off time period, and quickly have a retrospection that comes with it. I don't feel this to, and okay, so that, and I will of course go more in depth to this in those individual transit videos, which I don't doubt that I will do. Basically, there's going to be a new sense of retrospection that emerges this year. During Jupiter and Sagittarius, too much retrospection is not really great. It will show a bit of discord for too much retrospection, too much nostalgia. However, we will start to come into a new relationship with the past. We will have to, with Saturn and Pluto going retrograde at the beginning of a year cycle. There will be a sense of our motivation and our energy being rooted down by a new relationship to the past. And that makes sense to me, honestly. A lot of what made the 2018 year cycle discordant for many was unrealized things from the past, and not sort of understanding your connection with your own past. It's one of the things that I feel is asked of us quite immediately during this transition, is a different relationship with the past. And I feel like it just clicks. It just clicks for a lot of us. And if you're watching this still in March, or before the equinox, what a great time to look back at the old journals. I hope that you guys saw my post on Patreon about navigating March, totally a free post, back when the Mercury retrograde video went out, because this was the time to look back at the old photos, at the old journals, to make the amends, to say sorry, to have the closure. And for those of you that got that, how lucky you are, because you can move in unweighed down by the past. For some of us, there may still be an opportunity actually until about April 14th, with the Mercury still being retrograde in Pisces and again stretching out that ending phase. How inconvenient. I've just got to say, how inconvenient to have the Mercury retrograde in Pisces during the time of the equinox, and sort of quenching a bit of that initial fire that comes. But it's okay. Don't worry too much about it. So for some of us, those closures, those connections with the past, those understandings can actually stretch out, and I feel that's such a blessing for some people too. So it's not that huge of an inconvenience. But for those of us who are perhaps ready to like move on and jump headfirst into the flames, right directly on March 20th, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's going to be a sense of needing to move a little bit slowly, yet understanding that changes happen, and allowing yourself to embrace change, allowing yourself to embrace movement, mobility, Aries energy, cardinal fire. It has to have a place somewhere in your life. More exercise, more athleticism, more adventure, more channeling of stress energy. I should have a video going up soon about the concept of stress. Again, that's going to be something that I start out with this new posting schedule. So we'll be talking all about stress soon. So again, make sure you're subscribed. But yes, new channels for stress, new channels for old things that are still hurting, really getting those things out of our system. That's one of the main things that Aries time is for. We've let go, and now we really scatter up our molecules to be prepared to fill more space in Taurus time. Also, something that I really love about Aries energy is it doesn't have to think too deeply about itself. It doesn't have to really rack its brain or like go to the depths to understand what it needs to do. There's sort of an instinct with Aries. Again, it's the youngest sign, so it's not too cerebral. It's more instinctive. So I think that we will all have a strong instinct as to what we need to do. And it is important that we follow our instincts during the Aries time, especially around the equinox. And I feel that the window of time between April 14th and April 21st, when we move to Taurus time, will be extremely important. That week of time is going to be so important because that will be the only time of like strong Aries energy without the strong Pisces injection of like that Mercury retrograde, after it moves through its shadow. So April 14th to April 21st, that's such an important time to be following your instincts and to be embarking on new adventures, new journeys, and making up for lost time. I feel we've really been doing that in March as well. We make up for lost time, but that whole concept of making up for lost time really gets completion and its final follow through, I feel, during that April 14th to 28th. So I know I'm talking about a lot of dates here, but this is all connected in with the equinox time. The equinox activates this new timeline, this new 2019 year cycle, and then that injection of energy really gets its follow through, I feel, April 14th to 21st. As we get, I don't know, I don't want to deny the activation of energy that happens on the 20th, but with that Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it really stretches out the ending time of Pisces, and I feel that that can be such a blessing. I feel that for those of us who have struggled to maybe connect the dots, for those of us who are feeling like late bloomers within this lesson of the 2018 year cycle, we have that little extra bit of time after the equinox with new energy to do what we needed to do, to find the closures we needed to find, and to then like really get on board, to really be following through from the 18th, or sorry, from the 14th to the 21st of April. Okay. And then again, we have a lot of things moving retrograde in April as well, as I was saying. So, it can feel a little bit indecisive. And that's what I think, that Justice is a card that really does explain really clearly what's going on. I mean, we can tip the scales either way if we want here. We can see anything from any perspective that we want to. We can see, our left brain and our right brain being like, no, it's my turn, it's my turn. As I do sense a bit of volatility with that. But if we can truly hone into the natural energy of Aries and follow our instincts, and perhaps get a little bit less cerebral with ourselves, which is a bit of an irony or a bit of an oxymoron perhaps with this type of video. But I want to come here and tell you that throughout this next month period of time, you have to be able to follow your instinct, and you have to be able to kind of follow a linear path as well. And that could perhaps be the case for a while. Although with Saturn and Pluto going retrograde, we have to be a little bit structured in our approach as well. But certainly during this period of time, we've got to be linear. We've got to follow our instincts and not get too cerebral, not find an anti-solution for every solution, I want to say. It's like you find a solution or you reach a conclusion, and then immediately you have this thing that comes and says, no, that's not right. That's not the right answer. This is the right answer. And you find yourself in this like constant sort of chaotic indecision. Aries can represent indecision. It is the Aries-Libra axis, so there can be indecision during Aries time. But I feel like most of us know what we need to do, and now it's time to follow through, and we truly can thrive so strongly through knowing our instincts and being in touch with them, and also through having the proper energy as well. Hopefully by now you've sort of understood what your body wants, and you've been working on whatever deficiencies there were. Again, the 2018 year cycle dealt with energy sources, where we're getting our energy from, and 2019 can a bit as well, but hopefully we've determined some things to help give us more energy. We've determined what our body needs somewhat more, and now we can continue implementing that. I do feel that it's an expensive energetic time, again, with so much volatility, with so much polarity between the conservative Capricorn energy and the draining, more eccentric Sagittarius energy. We kind of have to give both to ourselves, which takes a lot of energy. So again, eating well, sleeping well, very important time for it. Also cleansing, again, on the side of Pisces. Before the equinox, that was a great time for detoxing and cleansing, and you can really, again, set in a structure about what you're giving your body, what you expect of your body. And I also feel that our fear is, okay, so more and more messages come. I feel that our fear is tested during this time too. I feel like we can know clearly, what we're scared of and what's like an actual problem in our lives. So we might be convincing ourselves that something's a problem when it's not, because we're afraid of it. And I do feel that with an affirmation, with just saying, I no longer need to fear this, I know what I'm capable of, really easily we can step into a place of overcoming fears and overcoming things which have been scaring us for a long time, which again truly feels like an incredible blessing of this time. And part of what this 2019 year cycle represents is overcoming fear. Instead of fear, we have abundance. Instead of fear, we have benevolence. We replace the fear and the empty space that gives us with our benevolence and abundance. So, yeah, I know that for some of us, maybe we wanted it to be a bit easier, but at the same time, it's not as hard as it was. And it does bring with it a clarity if we want that, and a really honed instinct, it feels like, as well, this period of time. So I've talked so much about 2019, you all. I've enjoyed taking about the last 3 or 4 months to develop content about 2019 year cycle. If you want to know more about 2019 itself, I do have my 2019 year ahead series, as well as my 2019 year ahead meta companion, which goes through 2019 and will really help to illuminate more in this video as well. I will put those in the description box below, along with the other helpful videos that I've mentioned, the Mercury retrograde video, anything else that I feel will be relevant to this video. But I'm wishing us all so much luck, and I think that the times are changing. I think that the shift that we will feel past March 20th, but especially getting towards Taurus time of 2019, will be sizable. I truly think that it will. And I hope that these messages have resonated for you. Again, I'm filming this on March 14th, so I'm still on the Pisces side, so it's still coming from a bit of a emotionally soft, wide, depth, void, inspired place. But I feel the shift, I feel it coming, and I feel like these messages will show themselves. I really feel like the messages that you need to, the messages that you, us, myself, the individual needs, will show themselves. And I don't feel like things have to be hidden anymore. I really think that we can clearly know what we need. And I feel like the beginning of this 2019 year cycle really shows things quite clearly. Again, we go from this quite unclear space coming out of the 2018 year cycle into a place where there's clarity. And that can be hard because sometimes it might be difficult to accept what has come in these situations. But I also feel like there are quite direct solutions to it. So try to not fear the facts. Okay, don't fear the facts moving into this time, and you will be quite strong. You will be quite well developed if you allow yourself to be, and quite energized. I feel like energy stores are much better than they were this time last year. Truly, even if you're feeling a bit more drained and depleted, you've just become more honed into the different type of energy that you need. I know it's a little bit complicated, but feeling drained and depleted now is not necessarily a sign of illness or a sign of something terrible. It's really just a recalibration, I would call it. And you will feel clearly what it is that you need and what your body needs. So follow through on that, hone those instincts. Don't be afraid of linear paths during Aries time, and don't be afraid of a bit more adventure here. We are moving into a very adventurous year where we save a lot, where we conserve, learn, and grow through that adventure. So enjoy that so much, you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for checking out the live premiere if you had the opportunity to do that. I believe you can look at the replay if you didn't get to see it. It's always fun to look at and enjoy. And be sure to stay tuned to my channel and stay tuned to my Twitter and Instagram, because I do post updates there, and Facebook as well, about when live streams will be, so you can check this out when it first happens. And Yes, all of the important links are in the description box below. Please take the time to go over and check out my Patreon page. I know that if you enjoy my channel, you will enjoy the content over there. Again, not all of it is paid content, but if you would like to support with a monthly pledge of your choice, you can definitely do that, and it is so helpful. Like, again, it's like the patrons that really make me feel somewhat solid and secure within this very time-consuming career that I found myself in here. Anyway, I'm looking forward to some great new content. Set those reminders for Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I believe it is, because that is when new videos will be going up every week on my channel this year. If it feels right, I'm going to sort of dip my toes into that. Again, like if it's too much, I may not be able to keep it up, but I am making that a goal for now, and it should, I'm feeling like it's going to be actually like quite fun to do it that way. So that will be happening as well. And yeah, you never know. I put up things randomly as well sometimes here on my channel if I get an urge, or I should say a surge of inspiration. But yes, links are below. Patreon, 2019 Year Ahead series, 2019 Meta Companion, all really, really great resources for this period of time. And like this video, thumbs up, comment, your subscriptions, it all makes my day. I'm wishing you guys so much love, light, abundance, prosperity. We are moving into a new type of paradigm, so prepare yourselves for that, but I think it's going to be really great. Anyway, much love, everyone. We will be talking soon. Goodbye.